Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the live stream. I see Crypto Queen is, as usual, taking advantage of the lunchtime hour when most people are out stuffing their face. She's stuffing her wallet. Khalid, welcome. Okay. Yep. So in 1 hour, it starts at 2 o'clock. Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed the opening. Khalid, so you'll see here. This is what I mapped out earlier this morning. We were watching this as I was drawing in. I said, okay, here's a fair value gap inside of a breaker, right? Which is your unicorn setup. But I was looking for the New York low and London low. I was looking for these lows to be hit first before the move up, but it didn't do that. It started moving up right around what's this? It consolidated a little bit around 940, and then it started taking off. So even though I had the breaker here, I thought the breaker would fail and it would hit these lows and then move up. So I missed out on getting in early at nine. I think it's around 905. Yep, 17905. And after missing that, I didn't want to just jump in because I didn't know where it was going to turn around. Because at the time, the all-time high was set here, so I didn't know if we were going to run up to the all-time high or not. And so I never really entered. I attempted to get into a short somewhere in this range. I think on this, I don't know, one of these candles. I attempted a short. It looked like it was working at first. I then moved my stop to break even, and I think it was this candle maybe that came back up and took me out. Um, so that's in a nutshell. That's my day. I had a short that failed. I had a long that I didn't take because I was looking for lower lows, and there you have it. It can't be right every time. I'm not sure why those weren't taken. Just one of those things. Maybe because since we're in all-time high territory, there's at some point there's going to be a reversal, and that reversal is then going to go and take all those lows at the same time. But for now, they'll remain open. Yeah. In fact, let me just check something. Okay. Mm, yeah. I think what really tripped me up was that the past few days, what's been happening is the New York low, which essentially is down here, this 875 that was made it right after the opening bell. Those lows have been swept right at 10 o'clock. And so I expected price to still hover in this area until 10, where we can see at 10 o'clock, price was here. So it had already taken off about 945. So that was my prediction for price, and the market makers had a different idea. 18,300. Okay. I know. All right. If you got anywhere down here, and like this is premium, like this is where you really wanted to get in at. But according to the breaker, our entry would have been at 905, and that would have taken us to the promised land. But we just got to look for the same entry another session, either this afternoon or sometime next week. But the good news is, I saw it. It was a setup that I normally take. I just, no strategy is 100%. So I thought that was going to be one of the ones that failed while it sought lower prices. And I was wrong. Here, the 930 price, 909. Okay. Or are you saying 930? Oh, here. Okay. Yep, this was a second breaker entry right here, 932. And it was right at 10 o'clock. Dip into a fair value gap. So there's your silver bullet for the morning session. And then off it went. We'll give everyone another minute or so, and then we'll get our afternoon session started. All right, so now let's take a peek and see what we had for lunch hour. Now, I've heard of some of you have already talked about this bullish leg here from the lunch hour. All right, let's get rid of these. None of them held as far as being a breaker. So we had from this leg here up to high. We then had a pullback of greater than 50% into discount. Didn't eclipse the high. Had a sort of another half pullback here, and then it finally took off, sweeping the high, as well as we had 0.5 standard deviation coming from this wick high at 830 down to the wick low at 930. All right, so we got half a standard deviation at 18,020, full standard deviation at 18,069. I think so far that's all I have. marked up. Sorry, let's get rid of this. All right, if price just continues to run, let me just put this here so we all know where it is. All right, 164 for an upper limit if it just runs away and you're looking for targets for anyone in the long. So as of now, we're still at all-time highs. Right, like we normally do, let's go and check in and compare our three indices. Put that against the dollar. All right, so we see it's already created one fair value gap that has not been traded to, and we're in the process of creating another one starting out this hour. So we'll see how far a retracement we get this hour, and that'll determine how big this gap is. And that gap may become some level of influence really soon, especially if we get a push up this hour. We could then get a retracement next hour back into the fair value gap for a final push at the end of the day. All right, S&P, after making all-time high, finally, we've been waiting for that for the last several weeks after Nasdaq completed its all-time high, and it finally happened this morning, right around 8 o'clock or 8:30. There wasn't any news, so it's strange that we got this big push up at 8:30. But either way, it made the all-time high, which was at 50.28. It got all the way to 50.43. And then we got a big retracement down, same with Nasdaq, but the push out of that retracement hasn't been nearly as strong. In fact, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, last 5 hours bullish for Nasdaq. Can't say the same here. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. So it's not giving you a lot of range there, and also not allowing you to set a stop loss and get comfortable. In S&P, if you set a stop loss, you need to leave it where it is. If you shift it today, it looks like it's going to be taken. And on the Dow, we see that it was a push down pretty much from the opening bell all the way until lunch hour. Lunch hour was the first bullish momentum we got this morning. So we'll keep monitoring that. We see the dollar is really pretty much consolidating after having a big push as well at 8:30 down to a fair value gap. It pushed out of the fair value gap, but it hasn't given a lot of range. Keep in mind, everyone, this is Friday afternoon. So on a weekly profile, if targets have been met or everything is done, we may see just lackluster price action. So let's be prepared for that. Let's hope for the best, but understand this is Friday afternoon and it may not do a lot. Okay. Get back to a regular scheduled program over on NQ. We'll rest at the 5-minute. I'm going to drop this 0.5 standard deviation. Also this one. Right. Do we have anyone currently in a position? Anyone in the room currently in a position? Waiting for a short, okay. Seems like a lot of us are doing the same thing. Yep. All right, everyone sitting tight, resting, waiting for price to show us the next move. Fridays ago. January 19th. Okay, I see what you're saying. Pablo, for the most part, no. For the most part, I just do NQ. I try to stick to just one or two things and try not to bounce around a lot. Khaled, I use Topstep, but if you want to trade real money, there are a bunch of brokers when you click at the bottom of Topstep. I'm sorry, at the bottom of TradingView, you go to the trading panel, and there's a bunch of brokers there that you can log into. So those are the brokers that you can log directly into TradingView with. So you're welcome to try any of those that you like. I think you just got to load some money in, and then you can log in and start trading. I know I've heard of people using AMP. I've heard of people using Oanda. Heard of people using Tradovate. Those are the only ones I've heard of people using. And there may actually be some more brokers that you can connect directly to TradingView. Yes, Topstep allows you to use TradingView. Yep. So what they do is they give you a Tradovate login. So you go into TradingView, you go to like you're going to log into Tradovate, and then you log into Tradovate with your Topstep credentials, and then it allows you to trade your Topstep account. Okay. How I came up with this. Okay. So what I did was, and first it starts on your Fibonacci. So it's coming from whatever your Fibonacci tool is. Okay. So these are the settings that I have. Yep. So it's going to be all of your negatives. So like -3, -2, -1, -4. Yeah, I think that might be it. Oh, actually, I'm saying it wrong. It's going to be your positive numbers. So the +4, +4. Here's a 3. Here's a 2, a 1, and I think I got a 1.5 in there somewhere. Somewhere. Here it is, the 1.5. So anyway, what I did was, I took the leg that went the opposite direction before the leg we're in. So right now we have this big bullish leg here, and before this leg started, we had a manipulation. We had a retracement down. So what I did is I measured the retracement from wick to wick. So here to here, right? When we pass up here, I have these marks here. So this is 0.5, so 150%. So this is 100% of the whole leg. So this is essentially when you get to 200%, it's double. So this would be 0.5 standard deviation. This would be 1. And then this would be 2. Something's not quite right. I think I had the measurement off a little bit earlier. So there it is. And this is just because we're in all-time high territory. So usually you would have a target. You would say, okay, I'm looking for a fair value gap, or I want to target equal highs or a swing high from back in December, the high in December. We're targeting that. But now we're at the highest it's ever been. So there's nothing above us. So now we're just measuring, trying to see, will it be 50% greater than this range? Will it be twice the size of this range that we measured? Will it be 3 times that size? So that's the only way really to pick targets when there's no pool of liquidity above you. Well, Pablo, when I pass my combine, I can tell you exactly how it works. I mean, I've heard how it works. I know how. So once you pass your combine, you have to pay. I think it's like $49 that activates your account. Then that's the last time you pay for anything, and then from there you just trade daily. You have to make at least $200 5 separate days. So what a lot of people do is they'll go in the first 4 or 5 days, just make a couple $100s each day just to make sure they're in, they've made the payment threshold, and then go back to trading the way they normally trade, and you look for big payouts. And then after, once you're ready for a payout and you apply for it, you can take up to 50% of your total winnings at one time. And the profit split is 90-10 between you and Topstep. I was doing great on my combine, but I did get chopped up a little bit earlier this week on Monday, Tuesday. I had a decent trade yesterday, and so far my trade today was break even. So I'm still up. I'm more than halfway through my combine, but I was really close to finishing, and so I'm a little upset right now. Uh, no, you don't need to make 10K. You only need to have really is 1K. It's 5 days of $200, and then you can start applying for a payout. After you make 20K, they upgrade you from an express account up to a live account. And that's so when you first pass your combine and then you start earning money, you're still technically on a demo account. They just pay you for whatever you win. But after 20,000, after 20, I believe it's 20,000 in payouts, not 20,000 in earnings. Um, then they upgrade you to a live account, and that's when it's real money that you're using. And but you've by that point you've already shown them how well you trade. They have all the stats on your trading style, trading activity, and so they at that point generally believe that you're a good trader, and you get funded with 20K. Yep. So top step, yeah, you can put three of them together. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right, Brad. After 10K, I think the first 10K might be 100 split, 100-0. Yeah, Robin, the hardest part about combines, I think, is having that switch in your brain, because most people come from before the combine, they come from a demo account. And so being successful in a demo account, generally, the approach is it's not my money. I made the trade. These are the parameters. Let me just wait and see what happens. And then you start to see your trade work out, and you start believing in your strategy and your system, and then you go for the combine. Problem with the combine is then you start watching every single tick. So if it starts turning against you and you see yourself in drawdown, especially if you have just recently taken a loss, then all of a sudden you change your rules because you don't want multiple losses. You don't want to fail your combine or any of those things. And more times than not, shifting your stop loss or changing your rules of any kind will lead to more losses than you would have had if you just kept things the way they were before. And so that's, I think, is the hardest transition going from demo to combine, is that you view the combine as real money and you really want to pass, because on the other side of the combine is the ability to make money. And so you want it so bad that you change your rules. All right, we see price is still just inching up. We're in the 15 minutes, so this would be the first two candles of the hour. coming from 18.24, and now we're right at 35. So for 30 minutes, it's only moved up 12 points or so and then retrace a little bit. So not a lot of activity right now. Yep. And case in point is me this morning. Like I've shifted my stop loss. I did the same thing yesterday, and it's because on Tuesday, I think it's Monday and Tuesday, first 2 days of this week, I didn't have winning trades. So both of those days were losing trades. And as I said, I was close to completing my combine, and it just was frustrating. So now I don't want to lose, but then not wanting to lose is preventing me from winning. Yep, it's like the age old saying, no risk, no reward. And that is as true as ever in trading. All right, new high, new high. Let's me go ahead and switch this out so we can see where that one standard deviation is 18,068. Exactly, Brad. So what happens is you take your winning percentage from 65% down to 45%. And so it's just, yeah, it's one of those things that you just really need to step away from trading until you have that confidence back. Some people take a day off. Some people switch back to the demo account. People have different strategies. But yeah, until you're willing to accept the risk, just stay out of trades. Yeah, and to be honest with you, Brad, of the two trades that the 2 days that I lost earlier this week, one of the days was my setup. It was just a losing trade. In fact, I watched someone else live stream just recently that same day, and they had the same setup, the same losing setup. So that was just my setup, but it lost. But the other day was not my setup. It was me doing something different and going against my rules, and just yeah, that one's on me. But either way, it took my confidence away for a short time. I think I'll be listening to Trading in the Zone this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, I know the feeling, Brad, where you think that it's really against you. All right, so we're all waiting for some sort of turnaround, and so far we're not getting much of that. 5, let's go to the 3, 1. You're right about that. Just laugh it off and do yourself a favor and listen to Trading the Zone this weekend. That's what I'm going to do. Come back next week with a different mindset and back ready to take my setups without being afraid of a loss. While we're waiting, let's just take a quick peek at the 4 hour. Because I think if we look at the 4 hour, we could have almost predicted what happened today. Right. So this is starting the London session at 2 o'clock this morning. This is the 6 o'clock candle, and this is 10 a.m., which is going to conclude in the next 20 minutes. But prior to that, we had since Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we pretty much didn't have much of a candle body. We didn't have much of anything. So we had this deep consolidation zone in a 4 hour time frame. So it's such a higher time frame that eventually we knew that the consolidation would break out into expansion, right? And then here we are. I'm not saying we could have predicted it would have happened exactly on this candle, but as we were watching this, even into as yesterday was closing off, we could have been predicting that either it was going to be today or Monday or sometime really soon. We were going to see price move in a bullish direction, and so therefore we would have been looking out for longs. And price is fractal, so this happens on every time frame. But when you get it on a higher time frame, then when it does break out, you can expect some type of continued movement in that direction, and that's why we're seeing the push looks like now at least to the one standard deviation level. Let's get back down to the 5 minute. Brad, let's laugh this one off. We'll rebound. I had the same thing happen last week where I was down for the week. I had lost the trade on Tuesday, Wednesday, I think, and then on Friday got it all back plus some. So I'm positive I can get back where I was. I just need to be patient, try not to get it all back in one trade, and follow my rules. Yep, you're right, Brad. You absolutely can. So it's trading 5 micros. Yep, it's like half of a mini. So you're definitely reducing your risk quite a bit. And it's a great attitude. Absolutely. That's the winning strategy there. Yep. Yeah. When I think about the amount of hours I put into trading so far, I'm I gotta be well over 10,000. I have to be. Actually, let me do some math here. About 40, 50 hours a week, 500. Okay, maybe I'm more like 7,500 hours in. Maybe not 10,000, but still, that's a lot. I'm 3 years in now. I don't know, Brad. When did you start? Okay, a couple years. Yeah. All right, Eddie. Yeah. You starting your fifth. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting ready. I'm starting my fourth right now. Like somewhere this week or next week, I'm starting my fourth. Oh, GameStop. Yeah, I think that brought it to a lot of people's attention. I got started in 2021. It was right after probably the kickoff of the crypto bull run, the last one. So I think the bull run last one started around November of 20, I think, somewhere around that time. And I got kicked right into it in February of 21. Probably once Bitcoin, I think, had broken like 30,000, something like that, and started, the news started talking about it. Is when I got started. Mhm. 12, 24, 19. All right. He's picked up a new hobby during Christmas break. Oh, 6,000. Okay, so you caught it right when it was at its deepest retracement. Yeah, pandemic, we were all at home, and for the most part, everyone was looking at YouTube trying to find something to entertain themselves, and trading caught a lot of people. All right, so we got a retracement here into a fair value gap on the 5 minute. And we have a macro period coming up in just 1 minute. So I'm going to go ahead and shift down to the 1 minute. Oh, after you bought it at 5. Wow. Okay. Oh, he was an essential worker. Sorry about that, TJ. Most of us were sitting at home. Oh, after sold it at 12. Okay. Hey, you still doubled your money, more than doubled your money. Uh, TJ, I think that's everyone's dream. We're all looking for that so we can just trade it full time and then make sure that our loved ones aren't hurting or wanting for anything. Yep, here we go. Thanks for the reminder, Khalid. We got about 10 minutes and then we'll look to see where we are. We want to look and see where we are on the different time frames as far as structure, and then we'll look for an entry. Yeah, Kendrick, that's tough. You guys weren't able to work from home and pick up a new hobby. Just not break even. Okay, you bought in at 44. Okay. See if we hold here or if we push out of this fair value gap. On the low time frame, this 1 minute, we did have a structure break here at 18,033. After about a day after graduating from college, man, I wish I learned this that long ago. Just go back to the 5. I want to make sure nothing really changed here. Okay, nope, nothing changed. All right. Yeah, yeah. Bitcoin. It's you're right, Brad. It is just now at break even. We'll see how far it runs this bull run, which should be, I guess, end of the year maybe. Right, so now we're waiting to see where does price go first? Which one of these black lines is more attractive? Oh, nice. Last 2 days. I did see something about Ethereum reaching 2,500 or something yesterday. I think this fair value gap here is pushing price. Buy from breaker block at the 110. Okay. The price is not going higher. 110. Oh, okay. I see. Hmm. Well, came in and dove in, tapped off the centerpiece there, and that's been in the last few minutes. Yeah, you're right. Price is not moving higher quickly, but it's looks like it's going higher. It's just not fast with it. So we got one more minute and then it's 2 o'clock. All silver bullet traders will be looking for a setup in the next hour. All right, at the current moment on this 1 hour, I'm 1 minute. I mean, we are bullish. Still showing bullish sentiment. It switched bearish, and then we had a take out of this high, pulling up. So now we turn back bullish. So if you want to take a silver bullet, you want to look for, if you are bullish and you're looking for a bullish entry, you have several fair value gaps here on the 1 minute, but you can also move up to another time frame and look for something else. All right, we have several bullish fair value gaps inside of a breaker here. Now the breaker was taken off of the 1 minute, so you can decide if you like that time frame or if you want to go for another time frame. Let me go up to the 5 minute, just look and see what's there. Hmm. Nothing on the 5 minute. Yeah, the only problem with this silver bullet is generally you wanna have a target to push towards, and right now the only target we have is at 844, which is not a huge range. All right, back to the center of this breaker here. You take the fair value gap that was presented, go back to long tool here. Right, 1 to 2 trades. See, it's not that much. It's a very small range. Hmm. Yeah, I don't like any of these longs for a silver bullet. They may, deliver price, but you have to target something, and the only target we have is 845. Now it may run higher, and we may actually get up to this one standard deviation here, but I I wouldn't take that trade. But if you want to, then just go off of the fair value gap that you like, and then go for a 1 to 2, depending on the risk that you need to take for it. Like I say, this one here would be, your risk would be 7, so you'd be taking 14. So 1 to 2 would be right here. And that's if you got in down here right at 0.33. Higher time frame. Let's see what else we got. Okay, on the 2 minute. So it'd be a little higher at 0.48 as an exit. Yep, 3 minute, just a little bit larger. So you exited basically at 18,050. But then if you want to enter off of the breaker, or if you did enter off the breaker, and you did a 1 to 2, and that's a little higher. All right, that's a little more like it. Up to 0.58. At 165. Okay. Uh, yeah, you're right, crypto. They do fail a lot. I was looking on the other time frames and just, I guess we could take this 3 minute one here. So far, neither black line has been compromised yet. Neither the high or nor the swing low of the last price leg. You're right, Robin. You are in premium on the full range if you're looking at it. But then you could also take this leg here where 50% is the top of this fair value gap. But uh, but you're right, Robin. That's why buying at an all-time high or anything close to that, you are taking a considerable risk because if you look at the likelihood that it goes up versus go down, it's got to be a greater likelihood that it goes down. Yeah, Robin, it is tough. You got to have different perspectives because you could always just look at the current leg. You can look at the more extended leg, which is straddling over time between this session and last session. So there's always so many perspectives to look at, and finding the right one is part of part of what makes trading so difficult. Wow, I wish I knew. Robin, the only advice I could give would be always check on price and see if it's reached whatever the target is. In our case, we have reached a target. We've been putting in all-time highs all day. But if we hadn't done that yet, if we still were pushing towards our target, then maybe you would look at just the most recent leg. But now that we've reached our target, I really don't have any advice on which fib to use. Because it's not often that we sit in this position where there's nothing above us. Last time we were here was January of 2022. And it immediately sold off for 6 or 8 months or so. So it's been a while. 8 hour from the 4 hour, 1 hour order block. Okay. Yep. So the current leg is we're retracing here. So you go off the most recent swing high and then follow that leg down until you find the swing low. And so it's these two black lines that I have drawn here. Yep. Yep. And so you can take two approaches. You can draw from here to here. And in that case, yeah, we just barely passed 50%. You can also see the 50% is where the candle bodies have been hanging on. So they allowed the wicks below, but all the bodies have been above. I usually take my lower extremity from the candle body. So then that actually shows that now they've gone through 61%. But if you like wick to wick, which most people do, that's what you'd be looking at, Robin. It depends. You can take it from anything you like. It depends on which time frame you trade from. You can see here on the 5 minute, it's exact same as it was on the 3. Here on the 15 minute, it's different. So the 15 minute would be swing low down here, swing high up here. I mean, I guess this might actually be a swing low because I think this low is a little higher than this one. This low is 20 and this low is 20.75. So this might technically be a swing low. So I guess it is the same. It's just a really short leg. It's like two candles. But I would say take it from the ones that you look for a setup on. So you'd be looking for a setup on whatever chart you use. You're doing 3 cube now? 3927. All right. Tell me how that 27-minute chart is looking for you. Okay. 5 minute look. It looks like we got a nice little trend line forming here. Okay, we got a break of that trend, and then we're looking for these highs. But it would need to close above. Yep. Good. Thank you, Fauci, for that. 2 hours still close. Everyone knows that trades need to be done by 4:10. So we're just after 2:15 now. So just keep that in mind. Absolutely, Fauci. You're right about that. What are these levels I had? 050 and 060. All right, I'm gonna get rid of these long tools now. See, have we got any other fair value gaps to print since 2 o'clock, or even before 2 o'clock, but just anywhere? Nope. Wow. Okay. So we continue to wait. Back on the 5 minute. One standard deviation still at 068. All right, that was a strong candle pushing through. Oh man. Okay. So we didn't get a close above, but the next candle started above because of proximity of the trend line. That happens often where the break of a trend line is actually the start of the next candle. It starts right on top of it, similar to what you would see in like an EMA. Solid. Say ES is doing something special. Yep, it is. Looks like it's trying to get up there. Yeah. Dollar's still not doing anything. It's almost like it hasn't even woken up this hour. Dow doesn't look inspired either. Okay. Dollar might be pushing lower now. Okay. Trying to look better. Let's get back over. Ooh. Okay. Okay. What was that? And was that the only one to do that? Let's see this. I think, yeah, ES is getting ready. It's right on the verge. It's basically made equal highs. All right. So is that just a liquidity sweep, or is that going to be move we see going for the rest of the day? All right. Let's hang on. Let's go back. There we go. All right. So fair value gap entry did not exit yet. It only delivered 15 of the 16 points. And anyone who entered at the breaker, yeah, you still got quite a ways. You got until 061. Let's move this out of the way. All right, starting a new candle. Let's see if it forms a fair value gap or if it immediately rebalances itself. Eight equal highs now. There you go. All right, silver bullet traders, you got your 17 points. There's your silver bullet for the afternoon. Unless you get one here. Now that this one is done and has produced, I'll go ahead and line up the next one. And it's not retraced yet, so this one is not active. But we'll see if anyone who took the entry off of the breaker block, if their 1 to 2 trade delivers, should be 26 points here. And oddly enough, these two have the exact same exit. So I'll dump this one. $17 points delivered so far on a 13-point stop loss. Hmm. I'll leave it there. There we go. Okay, so this is what it would look like. And so there would have been a period of time here where you would have been in drawdown, not knowing if price was going to hold. Currently be 20 points in profit, with a TP looking at 26.5 points, so about 6 points away. Fauci, when you say sellers are sitting there, you mean all of us? All of us sitting here like, I thought it was going to sell. All right. Hopefully, someone who was waiting for the silver bullet took that entry. Oh, trading ES. Yeah, ES is on the minis. It's $50 a point, whereas Nasdaq is 20. Very tight stop loss. Yeah, I hear you. Oh yes, absolutely. That was the reason why I moved over to Nasdaq, was because it would get to TP quicker, but it also get to your stop loss quicker, just as you mentioned. So it's one of those. Most people are they either like the S&P because of how slow it is, and it gives them time to think about the trade and then enter, or you prefer Nasdaq because you want to get in quickly, but you want to make sure that you make more money. So a typical trade on ES would have been a 5 point take profit. So you get $250 per contract. And its equivalent on NASDAQ was 20 points. So you get 400. But also, like you mentioned, the stop loss increases as well. All right, let's see if any of these stop losses, or I'm sorry, fair value gaps have been traded into, so we can maybe update our TP. Okay, in the lower time frame, it has provided very little, with the exception of this fair value gap. So let me move this over so we can see. There's a fair value gap right here. So if we entered here, oh, okay, two trade. Okay, 1 to 2 would finish before that one, so there's no need to update anything. Okay. Okay, let's see if we get a tap into this fair value gap. Because if we do, this could actually extend us a little further. Oh my God, this fair value gap is massive because of this candle right here. And then the wick on this one. So that would be right. Okay, we need to trade a little bit further. We need 2 more ticks down to 150 flat to activate this trade idea. Equal highs. So this actually might be a play where it trades in here and then the next candle comes back and get those equal highs. All right, so this has been activated. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our original trade and we're going to extend TP as if we entered here. Now you're looking at a 41-point trade if we can get up there. Yep. And then you can also take your trade you're in and put your stop loss at 0.37, which is where this new trade idea would stop out. So if you entered here on the breaker, you're now in profit. Your stop loss is now in profit. You entered at 34.5 and now your stop loss is at 37 or something above. All right, 30 seconds on this candle. All right, we're waiting to see if this candle can take over the previous 2 candles highs, continue moving forward, and it has. There we go. All right, still pushing, still pushing. Let's see if this is our final TP, or is there another fair value gap that was just created that we can use to extend? All right, let's see if this one gets touched. Made 300 with micros. Sweet, man. How many contracts? 6. Okay. Not bad at all, man. So so you made $50 per contract. So that meant if you had done a mini on one contract, it would have been $500. So it's all good, man. You did good. All right. Still have not touched in yet. Waiting for another fair value gap to be touched so we can see if we can extend our TP. Hmm. I don't think I'm going to find anything before we get up there. Maybe we'll see. We go back down to the one and see if we can't get a trade into one of these. See, will it tap in or not? All right, there's a tap in right there. Let's look and see what this setup would look like. Okay. 1 to 2 is here. All right, so let's take this one. Extend. All right. Now you can take your stop loss. Go to 052. All right, so we went from 034 to 37. Now we're at 52. So if you got in at 34, you're already bagging 18 points, depending on what happens here. Mm-hmm. Yep, so this is, yep, for now. If I was in a long, I would have my stop right here now. All right, steady pushing, steady pushing. Yep, there's the 1 standard deviation tapped. All right, we might get a retracement here because of it, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Nice 300 on the ES. All right, good job. All right, we don't need this one. All right, anyone in a long, keep in mind we reached 1 standard deviation at 18,069. Okay, let's now look here and see where we are on the measurement, just in case we get a retracement back. All right, 50% is into the drawdown. If you took this very most recent trade, below 50% will be into drawdown. Okay. All right, 250 almost 250. All right, back at the origin point for this trade setup. Okay, we've already done the 50% retracement now. Let's see how far it goes. All right, let's see how it reacts at 70% here at 056. 70% is our sweet spot for the optimal trade entry. And it looks like it hasn't made it down to 70% yet, and it might not actually. I just put this here as the optimal trade entry, anywhere from 62 to 78%. We'll see where it actually retraces into. It did tap in past the 61 already. And now we see a bullish candle coming out of it. Okay, we do not have a break of structure or anything unless we get down here past 100. So it's the swing low that's down here that would change things for us. Breakout. I have one of these funnels creating with the highs here and then the lows, this kind of trend. You have trend line on both sides, just waiting for it to break. I'm expecting the break to the upside. Yep. And yes, we are 250. So yeah, to break structure, we got to get down here to 048. It's 70%. Let's see how it reacts when it gets there. Right, if we make it down here, this would be the first of first fair value gap to fail on this price leg. All right, so now it's touched 70%. And I say that 70% because it's just a retest. Sorry, just looking for the word. It's a retest of these equal highs that were broken by this large bullish candle. And so it just needs to come back down, retest this level, and then let's see how it reacts from there. I'm going to drop this OTE box. We don't need that any longer. All right, so far we got a bullish push out of it, but it's still in this trend line of lower highs. Yeah, you're right. It could be a fake. It could be one of the, what they call it, the bull flag. Yep, so we got a 5-minute breaking structure here at 0.48. And on the 15, I think it can probably stay where it was. Maybe down here at 0.26. 0.26. Let's shift this up. There. All right. Wow, look at this. This stair step down. I know it's the 1 minute, but that just looks awful. All right, let's see when this trade is invalidated. So far, it has not been. All right, there it is. Trade's been invalidated now. So that's the first fair value gap to not make it. So maybe it found its highs at this 1 standard deviation from the morning leg down. Fauci, what do you mean? Am I adding when it breaks below? You mean would somebody be adding to their long position by sweeping lows? All right, 5-minute break of structure on the 5-minute. So let's go over to the 5-minute so we can see that. All right. Well, Fauci, in this case, the issue that you would have had was that you want to add contracts as long as you know it has not reached its pool of liquidity. So it still has further to go. You get a pullback before it continues going where it's going. And since we're at the all-time high, we really don't know exactly where it's going. So we're just measuring standard deviations and taking off some of the risk as we move up the charts. So that's why I had this marked out as one standard deviation, and you can see what happened. It finally eclipsed that one standard deviation, and then we got the meltdown afterwards. So because of that, and on the 5 minute, we had a break of structure marked up where it would be. You wouldn't have wanted to add anything here unless you were going to end your trade right here. If it made it here, you wanted to cut because you can see it's broken structure. We have a 15-minute break of structure down at 18.026. So you wouldn't have really wanted to add to that position. You would have just been looking to maybe extend it out and let a runner run, but you wouldn't have been putting additional pieces to it. And so, I mean, this is really a great lesson for all of us. I mean, this is uncharted waters for, I mean, not many people have seen all-time high and traded it. And so how to navigate all-time highs or even all-time lows for that matter. Well, I guess you don't really have all-time lows, um, but on all-time highs, I mean, you really don't know where it's going. And so the best we can do is to take a previous leg of movement and just project out a similar size. I think if you wanted to add positions, Fauci, what would have happened is you would have needed to have been in somewhere earlier, and you would have been adding positions in here when we found a breaker and we was looking for the silver bullet. That would have been an opportunity to add position if you were still bullish for this one standard deviation as a target. All right, so all the way back to the beginning of the breaker where we led off with the silver bullet. Didn't quite get 45 points. It was able to get up to 71 coming out of 35. So it delivered 36 points. Let's say the breaker below. I mean, if you were still bullish and you thought it's going to go higher and this was just a pullback, then yes, you would add a position here. You would have the breaker with the fair value gap and you would throw in something. But being aware that we broke structure already on the 1 minute, we broke structure now on the 5 minute here at 0.48, and the 15-minute structure break is here. So what you would want to do is you want to put your stop loss down here because if it breaks 15-minute structure, then yeah, you probably don't want to be in a long anymore. Maybe it'll trade up into the fair value gap in order to sell down. So maybe you could stay in a long, hoping it gets up here, and then you want to exit when it gets to the fair value gap because you would expect it then to push downwards. Right? Are we going to play tug of war with the breakers? Crypto, what you thinking? Is tug of war with the breakers here? Bullish versus bearish unicorn? All right. See if you get tagged in. Okay. Six, 7. And 15 candle. Oh, okay. Are you on the 5 minute? Safest 5 minute breaker is off the 115. Absolutely. Good luck. Your stop loss is small though. Yeah, I know. It's just covering the breaker. I do. But from the fair value gap, if you want to enter the fair value gap, the stop loss would be right here at 62. So it's another 4 points up. So almost tapped me in. Yeah, no, I'm not taking this. This breaker wasn't, I don't think it was here. I think it was here on the 3 something. But hey, no tag in for me. At least not so far. Guess a point and a half leeway wasn't enough. So good. All right, 1:15 coming up in another 30 seconds. We'll see what the final 45 minutes of this afternoon session brings us, whether we see a TGIF setup or whatever else we get. Yeah, it's right here. Baby fair value got right here at 057. Come on. Tap me in. Don't do me like that. I'll make you tap me in. All right, let's see what happens. All right, these first two candles here, not exactly on my side. Question now is, will the bulls reign supreme, or will we get a TGIF setup? Waiting. Let's see what we got here. What up, Esh? What's going on? Man, it won't sweep a low. Every candle's making a higher low. Yeah, there's one. Let's see if that gets any momentum. Probably true, Sergio. That's probably true. Yeah, not liking it either, crypto. Not at all. I don't like how price is struggling to move lower, like really struggling. I'll reduce my risk down to here. Oh, invest. Good job. Way to go. Way to go. Which trade did you take, invest? Usually robbing when I get around $250, $300, something like that. Maybe if we sweep these lows down here. I mean, I might be willing to do it sooner now just because I'm not really sure about how price is moving right now at the end of today. But typically, you want to do it somewhere sweeping a low or taking out a key level. Maybe even like this one when we swept this low here. Pushed through the fair value gap, took out a low, so that might be a good place to do it. Let's see if this candle pushes past this low. If it does, then I'll probably just move it down. Let's go back. So good job. That's what I wanted. Keep doing that. All right, there you go, Robin. Done. Now, whatever it does, it does. I don't know why this fair value gap seems to be so strong these days. Lower high on the 5 minute. Okay. All right. Let's see. The dollar is so far selling. Everything's selling so far. Okay. A new low made, which is good. See if it'll close below or not. Okay. It's not going to close below. So the fair value gap, we got to deal with it for another candle. Gotta be kidding. You're gonna leave that fair value gap there? Another candle? Okay, finally. Yeah, this breaker below, it's where the long was taken from earlier. And so this is gonna be a strong area. That's also where the 15-minute breaker structure is. So we'll see what happens. I'll just hold my position where it is. If it survives this pullback, then that's excellent. If it doesn't, we head into the weekend and we look forward to next week. Okay, yeah, you're right. The 15-minute is coming up. Just closed. Right, 30 more minutes in this afternoon session. Just give everyone a fair warning. Also keep an eye on, not only is it 30 minutes until the session's over, it's also the end of the week. So just keep that in mind as you're in an open position and looking to close out your trade. Let's mark this up as a low. See if that fair value gap can hold open for us. That'll be a good position for us to hold. Give us a low protection and allow stop losses to be adjusted. Under two would end at the 15-minute breaker structure swing point. See if we can, all right, so the fair value gap was created. Which, good, I can swing it down a bit. It's nice. See if we can break this swing low, the next one. Okay, swing low broken. 20% pullback, if you're looking for TGIF, is 17,967 and 3/4. So 17,968 would be your TGIF for 20% retracement. There you go. Go ahead and leave that open for us. Thank you. Where are we at? So Fauci, if you're in this short, this fair value gap here would have been a place you could have put a new entry on if you're just looking to add. And that's based on having a target lower that we haven't reached yet. So if you see a retracement before you reach target and you still have between the retracement point and the target 20 points or so, then feel free to go ahead and add a position. It's a 3 minute. Wow, it's a massive candle. The very end too. Okay. All right. If you want to be bullish, then I'm out. See what this kind of entry would look like. Stop loss offhand is massive. Yeah. See how you get a 1 to 2 out of this. Wow. Okay. Got 2 minutes left on this 5 minute candle. Okay. On the 15. Yep. Yeah. Well, it hasn't officially, the 15 hasn't officially switched bearish. It's still bullish. Until you break that low, you haven't taken out structure yet. I mean, it's still showing bearish candles. You're right. It's showing bearish candles. Um, but just price structure is bullish. All right, we're almost at 340, so it doesn't look like we're gonna get that big breakdown in price that we were hoping for. So we may either get another push for high, or we'll just get consolidation until the end. But it doesn't look like that just bottom falling out is going to happen. Because again, it's the end of the week. So if price is going to get moving, it needs to get moving. It can't wait until 350 to do something. Because if it does, it's only going to be, maybe a sweep of this low or maybe something else, but it's not going to be the full TGIF or anything like that we may have hoped for. And the more time passes, the less likely that's going to happen. All right, crypto. As you can see, I don't really have much to take and run, so we'll just let it fold and see what happens. And we got 10 seconds to see if I survive here on the 5 minute. Already made a new high. Not great. All right, there it is, gone. All right, everyone, there you have it. Gave it a try. I wasn't willing to leave my stop loss up here at 62. Yeah, yep. So the issue we had today was there wasn't any news drivers, so there was nothing really to push price. We saw a push up this morning. We saw it put in new highs, but there was really no reason for that, no driver. And so we got what we got. But I think all in all, it was still a good Friday. I had two entries that produce break evens, but it happens like that sometimes. And then watch now, you'll see price break down. Anyway, let's do a little Q&A for the rest of the session, unless you guys are in trades and you want to talk about what you see or what you don't see or where to get out or what you want to do. Khalid, probably the number one tip is to pick one strategy to look for. Just take a strategy that you want to use and just go with that. Absolutely, crypto. We live to trade another day. You're right about that. Yeah. So if you like the breaker block, if you like the silver bullet, sound like you want to test out the silver bullet. That's the thing you want to do. So what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to look at every day at 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11, and from 2 to 3. And you want to go from anywhere from the 1 to the 5 minute time frame. Well, first start at the 15 before you get to 10 o'clock. Look at the 15 minute and look and see what's price structure telling you. Are you bearish? You bullish? Like what is it? Once you get to 10 o'clock, then start looking for the lower time frames based on your bias, and then look for entries and just start looking for them. And once you see price move away, even if you didn't find it, but you see price moving away from what was a fair value gap before, then you go back and you analyze that to see why was that the silver bullet for that day? What occurred? Why would I have chosen that? Was it with price on the higher time frame? Was it against it? Those kind of things. Until you just start to understand the steps that are in your strategy. So it's mostly just having your strategy and just practicing. But you don't have to focus on, using the replay where you delete all the candles and you start replaying them back. Because it's really hard to do that, especially in TradingView, because it won't play the candles as they print. It'll just slap them on the screen. So you can't see that first it traded down and then it traded up. Those kind of things you miss. So what's important in the beginning is just being able to identify the setup. So just go through every day at 10 o'clock and try to identify the silver bullet and why that was the silver bullet. I would start there. Yeah, that's what I did today during the lunch break. Because Crypto mentioned that he had one just a couple days ago, because he does a live. It looks like once a week. So he had one just a couple days ago, and I took a look at it to see where he was identifying his breaker. Eddie, so mine is essentially the breaker is the unicorn. So it's the breaker with the fair value gap inside of it. At 345, we're still in the same little spot here. So it didn't deliver anything like I thought it would, but it also didn't. If I didn't move my stop, I'd still be sitting in the trade now. So I don't know. We'll see what it does. Let me move this out of the way. I remember asking right at the very beginning as Crypto Queen, I said, it looks like we're going to bounce between breakers. So far, that's exactly what it's done. Still another 15 minutes in this hour, plus 10 minutes in the next hour for trading. Oh, you just now started to be able to see the breaker real time. Yep. Yeah, for me, I'm a little less, I guess, less confident in the breakers that form during the trend. I like the reversal breakers. So like we had this one where it was breaking down and then you get a bullish breaker at the lower end here. Those are the ones I like the most. But like if we were building up and there was a bullish breaker up here, I would have less confidence in that one. Yeah, but this morning we did have, I believe there was in a 1 or 2 minute or something, there was a fair value gap in here, but maybe not. But definitely this one was a breaker with a fair value gap. Then here at 2 o'clock, we had a breaker with a fair value gap. So 2 or 3 today, just today alone. But they're a lot easier to find when you have a trending day like today. So just keep that in mind. Yep. So solid. That's where you'll get that from back testing. Like you can't get that from anywhere else. If someone else says, "Hey, use this strategy," it's 75%. Well, you're not going to know that until you go and back test it and you prove that it's 75%. Otherwise, you're just taking someone else's trade. And so that's why the back testing is important. Like you have to do it, and you got to spend hours and hours and hours doing it. So that's why all I ask. I've rarely seen someone have a strategy that doesn't work. It just may not work for you because you haven't practiced it enough. But strategies in general, for the most part, whether you like indicators to give you an entry, whether you like fair value gaps, where you like ICT concepts, smart money concepts, whatever. It doesn't matter what you like. You just have to practice it and make it work for you. Um, but yeah, Khaled, if I was you, what I would do is, so that's what I would do. Like for instance, if you did the silver bullet at 10 o'clock after you finish maybe a month, so you'll have 21 or 22 trading days, then you just go in and you say, okay, at 10 o'clock, if I took it based on whatever parameter you set, you would have been 15-7 or 17-5. Hell, you could have been 12-10, just whatever that number is. And that's for that month. And you go to the next month and then you set that up and you take and you go and look and see how that one turns out for you. Here, I'll show you a little something I have here that I've been keeping on my journal here. Oops, let me get rid of my photo. There we go. Oh, you can't see the left side. Okay, anyway, I was working on this back test and I was trying to figure out how I could catch the trade between 13 and 1400. So coming straight out of lunch, how do I catch that trade every day? And so what I did was I back tested these 3 months. And like, for instance, in August, I just went in every day. I looked at what the winning trade was. I looked at how I could have identified it, typed in a couple notes as to whether it would have been something that would have been feasible or whether it would have been a losing trade no matter what I did that day. Because I know how, if it's a fair value gap, I do 1 to 2. I have my structure. And I just went through every single day identifying where the winning trade was and put in any notes I needed to put in so I could follow it if I ever came back to it later. And then that allows me to see, for an entire month, how to trade that hour, right? And this wasn't even some other type of strategy. This was just, if all I had was I could sit down from 13 to 1400 and that's all I could do every day. Could I find winning trades every day or at least several times a week and just keep going with it? And so this is the way I track my trades as they go. I just screenshot them, drop them in here and just continue on and just keep throwing in notes or what could have been, what was. And I use this, and this is Notion, which is a free app if you just use it by yourself. If you're sharing with other people, you have to pay. But if you're just using it yourself, you can use Notion, copy, paste in here. All right, looks like my screen is frozen. Maybe I asked it to do too much. Okay, there we go. Eddie, I am consistent when I follow my trading plan. So yes, I have reached consistency when I follow my plan. When I break my rules, then I get what I get. And so that's why it's all about. So don't strategy hop. Don't say, oh, my strategy doesn't work. I need something else. You no, I think you just need to figure out um, how to work that strategy. Now, if you don't like that strategy, like it takes too long to deliver the profit, some people just, they don't have that level of patience. So you're going to look for more of a scalping strategy or something that reaches TP earlier. So then you'll change and move and do something else. But if that's not the case, I would find one strategy that just speaks to me, something that you can see, something that you like, and then just practice it nonstop until you get really good at that. And then don't worry about other people who may be trading a different strategy who tell you they want to trade, because your trade will win at a different time than theirs will. All right, looks like we're just going to trade this range until the end of the day. And the same for like today, when the session's over, you can go back and look and see that today was a very bullish day with a decent sized range, and maybe you wanted to catch in on it and you didn't. So then you go back and you say, well, what didn't I do, or what didn't I see that I could have done to get in? And maybe you identify that you missed this breaker, and that's why you weren't able to get in a trade, or you missed this breaker that was coupled with the fair value gap, and you weren't able to get in. But studying those will help you in the future. Okay, is that the final question? I think it might be. All right, everyone. With that being said, I will end it now. They'll give you 4 minutes back. You can get your weekend started a little early. Somebody go out and have a shot or something for me at happy hour. And oh yeah, go Niners. Hopefully there's no Chiefs fans in here or Cowboy fans, although it's hard to escape them. So yeah, everyone, thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. Hit the like button on the way out. Everyone who's brand new or been here only a couple sessions, make sure that you subscribe so you get invited to all the future sessions. And yeah, everyone have a good weekend. Recharge your batteries a bit. Do a bit of studying as well. Regain your confidence. Let's do it all again next week. Cheers all. See you Monday.